What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a secret meta weapon that I think very few people are using. I didn't discover this, but I think I have a lot of interesting and unique analysis to add, as well as a build that probably no one else is using that I actually think is the best that you can make with the weapon currently. We're going to talk about some unique attachments and a new attachment they just added that's actually very, very good and probably the new meta optic. As always, if you guys appreciate the content, all the work I put into the website, everything, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, and drop a comment as well. But let's get into it, and we will talk about the SVA 545. Over the holidays, I have a lot more free time, so I'm always looking for new games to play. This is a hero collection action RPG that is playable across all your devices, mobile and PC. There's tons of different activities you can do in game, whether you like things like campaign or PvP or difficult PvE dungeons. You guys are watching a TGD video, so I know you love min-maxing. This game's all about min-maxing. You're trying to collect the best heroes. Once you get the best heroes, you level them up, and then you try to pick the right masteries, which are basically like skill trees and talents. And then also you're trying to collect the best artifact sets, which is like armor sets that can provide you unique abilities to make your heroes stronger. Cursed City, which is one of Raid's biggest features since the Doom Tower, is available now. It has 100 stages to complete, including stages where you have to take down 2 bosses at once. As you work your way through the Cursed City, you can complete various quests, and at the very end, you'll even get access to a mythic champion. This winter only, there's a collection of specific heroes that you have access to that you don't normally have access to. So this is Tormund the Cold. He's a Void Legendary champion, and he's considered a great choice for endgame content for either PvP or PvE. He's really good for crowd control. When you're doing wave-based content in dungeons, he's also an extremely strong opponent for your enemies in PvP, like in the arenas. There's also a special holiday event going on right now in-game. It gives you the opportunity to both win in-game prizes, and there's some real-life prizes you can win from it too. To join that, you just have to go to raidxmas.com. If you use my special code in the video description, you're going to get 2 epic champions for free when you download the game. The first is called Lightsworn. He's a very strong epic champion from the Sacred Order. And then the second is called Epic Juliana, and you'll receive her at level 15. All you have to do is click the link in the video description, and a huge thanks to Raid for sponsoring this video. So the SVA 545 is the weapon we're talking about, and it is a sneakily good weapon. It has very low recoil, but there is a trick. So you have to use it on the single fire mode. So I have it on full auto right now. Basically, it's the same gun as the AN94 from Warzone 1, if you played Warzone 1. The first couple bullets come out very fast, and then the rest of the time it's just a steady state automatic weapon. So you can kind of hear it when I do this. The first couple bullets come out very quickly, and then they slow down. So that makes it so in the past it wasn't really helpful because the recoil was the same, but let me show you how different the recoil is when you use it on burst here. So if I just hold down, it doesn't have bad recoil, but it's not great. I mean, that's a decent amount of climb for just holding down the automatic fire. But if I change it to burst and I fire as fast as I can, it literally does not have recoil. It's just like the MTZ Interceptor or any of those marksman rifles in this game. There's no recoil whatsoever, and we're going to talk some more about how the burst mode actually helps time to kill on average versus the auto fire mode. Alright, so I've pulled the TTK chart up on True Game Data here, so you can see that the regular SVA in auto fire mode, just its default fire mode, is the red line. Toggle that so you can see it. And then the SVA 545 on burst, which is that 2-round burst, that's the single fire mode. That's the orange line here. And then the SVA 545 on automatic after that hyperburst is fired is the blue line. So if you miss the hyperburst, you can see it dramatically increases that time to kill. So that's just something to keep in mind. The true TTK that's shown on TGD for the red, regular old stock automatic fire SVA is faster than you're going to get a lot of times because you don't always hit those first couple bullets. Sometimes you'll fire before you're on the target, and if you miss those, then you're going to be getting this blue TTK. What's interesting is the SVA 545 on single fire / burst mode, because it's a 2-round burst, it's a pretty consistent time to kill. So no matter where you are in the mag, you're always going to be getting this the orange line there that's shown. And you can see at longer ranges, it is actually a little bit faster than full auto, even with the hyperburst hitting. But it's about the same. It's about the same as if you hit the hyperburst. But like I said, if you miss those first few bullets, when you're on regular automatic mode, TTK gets way worse. Whereas if you miss the first few bullets on the SVA 545, when it's on burst mode or single fire mode, it does not get way worse. It's going to be the same as what this chart shows. So TTK on TGD uses the actual like shot timings of the weapon. It's not just using the RPM that's shown. If you're looking at DPS, when TGD is using the RPM shown, but TTK is calculated using when the bullet's actually fired. So it accounts for the fact that it's a 2-round burst. It accounts for the long, burst gaps between each burst, and then the SVA 545 on full auto, it accounts for that hyperburst as well. So it's stuff I have to manually add, but it is all on TGD at this point. So this is showing the true time to kill, assuming every bullet hits from the start of the mag. Something else I like to talk about is the shots to kill calculator. This is essentially telling you how much you could actually reduce your time to kill if you miss a shot location, or increase your time to kill if it's a lower damage area. So this is the SVA 545 burst. Also, it does have the exact same damage values on full auto as it does on burst. I tested this before I made this video. Because people were saying it was so good, I wanted to make sure that something weird wasn't going on with the damages, but no, it's exactly the same. So in the first damage range, it takes 3 headshots to reduce your time to kill, so that's almost never going to happen. And then it takes 6 leg shots to increase your time to kill. So again, almost never going to happen. You're pretty much always going to get 726 millisecond time to kill for that chest shot, or just in general. From 31.8 up to 45 meters, though, it only takes 1 headshot to reduce your time to kill. So pretty huge reduction there, and that is the most important damage range. 32 up to 45 for a long range weapon, especially an assault rifle. That is going to be like where most of your engagements happen. So this is huge. And if you look at this, it does 305 damage with this combination of 10 chest shots and 1 headshot. The only damage area that's different is the upper and lower leg, and that does 2 damage less. So we did 5 damage extra with 1 headshot. That means we could hit 2 leg shots and still get the fast time to kill with 1 headshot. So this is gonna be super, super common to get this 806 millisecond time to kill here for that middle damage range. From 45 up to 51 takes 2 headshots. So that's gonna happen sometimes, but not as common. Hyperburst mode is gonna probably make headshots happen pretty commonly, just because that first bullet hits lower, the second one jumps up a little bit. So in this range, I expect headshots to be a relatively common occurrence. But yeah, not as common as the 31.8 to 45 meters. Last damage range from 51 meters and on is the same, where it takes 2 headshots to reduce the time to kill. So overall, really good potential to reduce your time to kill with some headshots with this gun. So that's another really good thing about it. So all of that in mind, how does it compare to the other pretty meta weapons? So we've got the DG58 LSW, the RAM7, and the MWIII with the conversion kit attached. So you can see that it is slower to kill, and I'm not trying to claim that it's not, but it's not that much worse, and it's so accurate. And in the past, accuracy has absolutely trumped everything else as far as what's the most important for a long-range weapon. So in this mid-range from 27.9 up to about 52 meters without any attachments, you can see the red line here, the SVA. It's very competitive, and it is going to be way more accurate than these options, in my opinion. It's so much easier to use. The RAM7, the reason I didn't include the RAM7 in my long-range video is because I just couldn't find a way to build it to be competitive. It has too much recoil, too much gun kick. The gun shifts off the center of the screen a ton when you're using it. So I don't really think the RAM7 is a viable choice, even though it looks fantastic on a time to kill chart. But yeah, you can see here that it's very competitive. The SVA 545 on burst mode is very competitive with these other weapons. It's going to be slower at range, but these longer ranges, recoil gets more and more important the further you get from the target. And I think that the SVA 545 on burst is dramatically more accurate than the DG58 LSW, the MWIII, pretty much everything else in the game right now, except maybe the MTZ Interceptor, because it just has no recoil, just like this burst weapon does. So because this is a burst gun, I wanted to figure out what the best way to build it was, because it has no recoil. So the recoil doesn't really seem like you need attachments to reduce that recoil. So I went in and tested. I built, the first one here is maximum aiming stability. So I didn't worry about recoil or anything else. I just built for maximum aiming stability. The next one was maximum firing aim stability. I don't know. It's the new stat in this game, which I still am going to do a deep dive on at some point, but I haven't had a chance to yet. This one, the third one from the top, is the maximum vertical recoil. And then the fourth one was maximum horizontal recoil. So from this, to me, it was pretty obvious that firing aim stability by far made this the most accurate. But I know from the past, in previous games, aiming stability is also really important, because if a gun doesn't have a recoil, it needs to recenter back to the same point each time that you're expecting it to, which means you need to reduce that aiming stability, that aim sway. So if I scroll down here, this was my build once I finally built it out, combining fire aim stability and actual aiming stability to reduce that sway, and then also just help the recoil plot get tightened up. So super, super ridiculously accurate, no recoil. But yeah, let's talk about the build. All right, let's go through the build now. Like I said at the start of the video, there's a new attachment that I think is pretty much the meta for long-range weapons. So if you go into optics, there's this KR IntLAS, it's integrated laser, LSJ-3 optic. So this helps your aiming stability and your aim down sight speed and gives you just a pretty nice sight picture as well. So this is essentially two attachments in one. This is like having the LAZ laser that helps with aiming stability and aim down sight speed built into your optic. And I think the reason they're doing this is because for weapons that have conversion kits, you only get 4 attachments because the conversion kit takes up an attachment. So these conversion kit optics basically give you 5 attachments again because they have 2 attachments built in. So I think that's why they're doing it. It's a little weird that you can actually attach them to regular weapons without conversion kits, in my opinion, but we're going to use it because I think it's the best. So for muzzle, this one's a little weird. Normally we would use the VT7 Spiritfire suppressor. Helps with recoil, bolt velocity, damage range. But for this gun, we're actually going to use the sonic suppressor because it gives you more bullet velocity. You can see this only gives you 7.5%, the Spiritfire, but the sonic gives you 12.9%. Yes, the sonic hurts your horizontal and vertical recoil, but like I said, recoil literally does nothing for this gun. Recoil attachments don't help it at all because the burst mode doesn't seem to be impacted by that. So we get a huge reduction in ADS time by going to the sonic suppressor. This is gonna be the only AR that's really viable right now, in my opinion, versus all those LMGs. So it's going to be nice and snappy. It's going to have good ADS time, and that's because of how you can build it when it's on burst fire. So 22.5% penalty to ADS time with the Spiritfire, 0 penalty to ADS speed with the sonic suppressor. So we're going to use the sonic suppressor. Like I showed, aiming stability and firing aim stability are the 2 most important stats by far for building this gun specifically. It's unique in that it is a single fire weapon. So Bruin Heavy Support Grip is going to end up still being one of the best. You can see that it helps aiming idle sway and it helps firing aim stability, which are the 2 stats we were looking for. There is another attachment that you could use in place of the Bruin Heavy Support, and that is the Smooth Fire Sniper Stock. So this does aiming idle sway and firing aim stability. It basically does those 2 a little bit more, but in using the 2, they felt almost identical. It's up to you. The aim walking speed penalty on this is pretty significant, 6.5%. So it's going to be up to you. I would suggest trying both of those between the Bruin Heavy Support and that stock. I preferred the Bruin Heavy Support by a little bit. We're going to use the 60 round mag, of course. And then there is a barrel actually for this gun that helps aiming idle sway, bullet velocity, range, and recoil. Recoil doesn't matter, like I said, but the fact that we can get bullet velocity, range, and aiming idle sway is awesome. So we're going to use the STV precision barrel, and then this gun basically has no recoil. And decent time to kill, really good headshot reduction potential, unlike some of the other weapons. And you can see if I take it in here, I'm going to go prone just so there's no aim sway with the optic. And you can see that this literally does not have recoil. I mean, it just hits the target every time. You can just click as fast as you can or pull the trigger as fast as you can, and every shot is going to the same place. And that's at 55 meters or so there. So it's an awesome weapon. Don't forget to use my Raid Shadow Legends link in the video description or scan the QR code to get insane bonuses for new players, as well as those 2 epic champions. Alright everybody, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I think a ton of people are going to love this gun because it just has no recoil and it has one of those faster fire rates. So that tends to be weapons that people really, really enjoy for long range. And the fact that it's competitive with that headshot TTK reduction, no recoil, pretty high bullet velocity, huge mag, I think it's going to be definitely a secret meta weapon that people aren't really using. So those are the kind of guns I love to discover. I didn't really discover this. People have been talking about it for a while, but I think I added some new information to the table, so I wanted to get that to you guys. So hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.